Sometimes the people you meet by accident are the ones fate was saving for your darkest hour. Rain poured over the crowded train station that night. People rushed for cover, umbrellas clashing, luggage wheels splashing through puddles. But Emily wasn't just running from the rain, she was running from her past. Her chest tightened as she caught a glimpse of him, her ex-husband, Daniel, the man who once swore he loved her, and later left her broken, penniless, and scared. Her pulse raced. Panic clawed her throat. He was scanning the crowd, his cold eyes darting left and right, searching for her. Emily's heart screamed. And then, she saw him. A tall man, dressed in an all-black suit, stood by the corner, silent, composed, and dangerously calm. His piercing gray eyes cut through the chaos like lightning. Without thinking, Emily did the only thing her instincts told her to do. She grabbed his hand. "Please," she whispered breathlessly. "Just pretend you're with me." The man's gaze lowered to her trembling hand. His jaw clenched. And then, for reasons even he couldn't explain, he played along. He wrapped his arm around her, pulled her close, and whispered in a deep voice that sent shivers through her body. "Don't look back. You're safe now." But what Emily didn't know was that the man whose hand she had just taken wasn't just a stranger. He was Alexander Moretti, the most feared billionaire mafia boss in New York. And her one desperate act had just changed both their lives forever. Emily's heart still pounded as she and Alexander walked out of the station, his large hand covering hers like a shield. When Daniel disappeared into the crowd, she finally exhaled. "Thank you," she whispered, voice trembling. "I'm sorry, I just..." Alexander's expression softened for a second. "You don't owe me an apology," he said quietly. "But next time you grab a stranger's hand, make sure you know what kind of man he is." His tone sent a chill down her spine. Something about him was different, powerful, controlled, dangerous. They reached the street, and Alexander gestured to a black car that appeared out of nowhere. "I'll take you home," he said. Emily hesitated. Every instinct screamed to say no, but the storm was brutal, and she had nowhere else to go. So she nodded. Inside the car, silence filled the space. His driver didn't say a word, even the air felt heavy. Emily watched the city lights flicker across Alexander's face, sharp jawline, intense eyes, but beneath it all, a loneliness that mirrored her own. "So," he finally spoke, "who were you running from?" Her eyes lowered. "My past," she murmured. He smirked slightly, though not unkindly. "We all are." As they pulled up to her small apartment, she thanked him again. But before she could leave, Alexander stopped her. "You're not safe," he said, voice low. "Whoever that man was, he's still looking for you. I can help, if you let me." Emily stared at him, unsure if she was stepping from one danger into another. "Why would you help me?" she asked softly. Alexander's eyes darkened. "Because sometimes I see myself in broken people." And for the first time in years, Emily felt something she hadn't felt in a long time, protected. What she didn't realize, however, was that her safety came at a price. Because in helping her, Alexander had just put her in the crossfire of a war far darker than she could imagine. Days turned into weeks. Emily found herself seeing Alexander more often, small encounters that felt strangely fated. He'd stop by her cafe for coffee every morning. Sometimes he'd leave generous tips. Other times, he'd just watch quietly from the corner table, as if studying her. There was a calmness in his presence, and yet, something dangerous lingered beneath it. One evening, as she was closing up, a man in a gray jacket approached her. "You shouldn't be near him," the man warned in a hushed voice. "Do you know who Alexander Moretti really is?" Emily frowned. "He's a businessman." The man laughed bitterly. "Businessman? That's one word for it. He runs the Moretti Syndicate, the biggest underground empire in the city. Stay away from him if you value your life." Before she could respond, a black car pulled up. Alexander stepped out, his expression sharp as he looked at the men. "Go," he ordered coldly. The men didn't argue, he ran. Emily stared at him. "Is it true?" she asked. Alexander's jaw tightened. "Yes," he admitted. "I never lied to you. You just never asked." Tears welled up in her eyes. I thought you were helping me out of kindness. He looked down, regret flashing in his eyes. I was. His voice softened. You reminded me of someone I lost long ago, someone I failed to protect. There was silence between them, broken only by the hum of city lights. Suddenly, the sound of screeching tires echoed. Daniel had found her. He stepped out of a car, fury burning in his eyes. So this is who you ran to? Daniel sneered. A criminal. Before Emily could speak, Alexander moved. In one swift motion, he pulled her behind him and faced Daniel. You ever come near her again, Alexander warned, voice low and deadly, and you'll learn the difference between a businessman and a monster. Daniel froze, fear flashing across his face, before backing away. Emily looked up at Alexander, heart pounding. Why risk yourself for me? He smiled faintly. Because when you grabbed my hand that night, you reminded me I still had one thing worth fighting for, humanity. She stepped closer, tears glistening in her eyes. And you reminded me that not every stranger is dangerous. As the first light of dawn broke over the city, Emily realized she hadn't just escaped her past. She had found something she thought she'd lost forever, hope. And Alexander, the man feared by all, found something too, redemption.